me and nobody's there. We right here in our city, Baltimore for real. We at the Black Setbacks Museum.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna do a serious breakdown for this entire episode. Hope that y'all get ready.
Oh yeah. Peace and love, everybody. It's gonna be a good one, man.
Yep, and I yield the floor. So let me know when you're ready.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna first start off here. This is uh, the cotton, and this is what some of our ancestors had to pick in a day.
Oh
And so,
wow.
um, you can just imagine with the conditions, the heat, especially being down south, even in if you was up north, still having to pick through the field and get all this cotton to produce this, and if not, you would have, more added on. So here's some more pictures here to show you how this field would look.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is pretty big.
Yeah, feel the cotton.
That's right, and
Gosh,
this is
man.
pictures right there that you can see.
Wow.
Our ancestors right there in the field, and then take you further through. This is some of the force feeding that was taking place when some of our ancestors wouldn't go along with the whole operation.
Yep, that's
You know,
right.
This is a famous picture here. You see one of our ancestors, with the chewed up back from being beaten. And they beat our ancestors for various reasons. But as you can see, sometimes when they would force feed, our ancestors wouldn't eat, and they would bust their teeth just to, feed them. So you had different hardships that they experienced during this time. And this is where you had the famous cotton plant grown in North Carolina, even down to Mississippi. You're going down to Texas, throughout the Carolinas, all up and down the South region. And of course, here's some of the slave, what they call collars around the neck, waist, wrists, ankles.
Gosh,
You know,
man.
and this is some of the hardships that they had to endure. This is the iron collar. They had the iron mask, iron boots, and so this is a lot of the things they had to endure right here. So y'all can see that right there. And then they also had this thing, the concept of the hot boxes. The hot boxes, they put a lot of our ancestors in the hot boxes, and in the hot boxes they would let them sit for weeks upon a time. Okay, so especially those who try to escape, run away, so to send a message to other people, if you try to elude slavery or oppression, this is what will happen to you. So this is
Understandable small shit that murderers move with. The thief thing.
Hold on. Who else called? Oh, okay.
Oh, you
Never
good?
mind.
Okay. So
My
this,
fault.
Right. So this is just a piece of what our ancestors went through. Of course, they're not going to tell you the entire thing, but this is a reflection of what took place in nature when we once put the Europeans in slavery. So this is what happened to us when karma came back to us. Okay. They don't teach us that in history, but we're going to cover some of that today. All right. You can see here, this is what they call slave ship. Now, a lot of the slave ships they named after different biblical figures or different expressions. So you see here, Liberty, okay, Holy Mary, John the Baptist, Hope, Amistad, and the Amistad they actually had a case. Okay, they had a movie based off of this La Amistad. This where a couple of the free men and women was captured and taken from their land, and they end up eventually in the movie winning their own freedom back because they fell under the treaty. They fell under the treaty, and you could not enslave a certain group of people because under the treaty and international laws, they were born free. So they ended up winning that case. So they had a lot of different ships named after faith, charity, pride, justice, and Jesus. So here's your evidence of Jesus coming to shore. This is where they find the ship here.
Steal away to Jesus.
That's right, and they would sing hymns on the ship because they was trying to not get thrown overboard, tossed overboard. They would pray that the waves would be neutral as they were taken to these new lands, which is here. Now we also know that a lot of our ancestors was already here, came here way before Columbus, but this is the narrative that they only push. So let's go ahead and go down. This is the middle passage. Let's go ahead and go down. And as you can see, you got some of the Albions from around the world, slave catchers here.
Look, fam. Yeah, we live in Baltimore. This is in our city right now. Get them lights up, family. Get them lights up. Get them lights up. Look, family, look.
This is another part of the branding process that took place. And when they used to brand out people, they would brand them with the flower de luce. The flower de luce, which is the New Orleans Saints football helmet logo. The New Orleans Saints football team, that's their logo, the flower de luce. This was used in the 1600s to brand out people, okay? The flower de luce, which is used in the 1600s by the Catholic priesthood. And this symbol goes back beyond 1600s. This is had the witch hunts of Ceylon of 1602. And they would brand a lot of our ancestors with that symbol, right? Now, when they branded a lot of our ancestors with that symbol, this was something that we already had used before, and they just take over that symbol and then give it back to us in a negative or connotative way. So we would learn to hate that symbol. But it's actually our ancient symbol that they actually hijacked, took it from us, and then they started to use it to brand our people. Okay. So let's keep going. This is more on the ship. We go deeper into the ship. You begin to see.
Oh, it's about to get interesting, fam.
Oh yeah, you begin to see different experiences here. You have the women's quarters, where a lot of them was fighting off the oppressors and the Albions from rape, from physical abuse. Right here, you see some of the heads that were cut off.
Oh my gosh.
And just look at some of the conditions. Now, if you pay close attention, pay very close attention, you see a lot of these kegs, these barrels of water. If you know anything about navigating on the sea, you need a lot of kegs of water to balance off the ship. So there's no way in hell they could fit millions of us stacked up on top of each other like sardines to come here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie. Okay? So then you can see, here's some of the children.
Look, family, this is deep.
That's right, you got some of the children that was brought. So man, women, and child, no one was exempt from the horrors of this that took place. And there's actually some of our people that say a lot of this never existed. It existed, but not to the extent that they teach us that it existed. Because they still, as they teach the story, they still push it so that you can always be afraid and fearful and hateful, okay? But really, this is a reflection of something that we once did to them.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's all you need to look at history from a different view and not just look at it from how it's told to you. So they describe on here some of the starvation tactics, the thirst tactics. Now, you see a lot of these slaves, quote unquote, a lot of our ancestors, with no clothes on. And you know, when you kidnap somebody, you go on in the deep sea, it get colder out there. So you gonna need clothes, okay? And a lot of them were naked or had or little clothes on. So that doesn't fit the narrative as well. Okay, now we know they also didn't care about them, but why would I, as a European or Albion, make this trip to take these people that I want to work for me and not make sure that they're going to be able to survive the trip to be able to work? And one part of the conditions was to have them have clothes so they wouldn't freeze to death, okay, and have other illnesses, okay? So again, these are a lot of the conditions here. And for whoever refused or rebelled against the oppressors, then they will get the worst actions taken.
Look at that image.
That's right. You see them, not all of them, all of our ancestors went along with this whole system. A lot of them was fighting, and they don't tell you about a lot of them who overtook the ships and overturned the ships and really took over the different narrative and changed the whole thing. Okay, and then you see more of the punishment and abuses here, but not every last one of our ancestors was for this crap. And even to this day, not all of us are for what's going on as far as the oppression for our people. We still fighting. We still going up against what's happening. So what happened back then is happening now. Okay, and history is repeating itself when you don't know how to go about it from a corrective history standpoint. Okay.
I like that image. I
Yeah.
like this image.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We need more of that.
Yes,
Just
indeed.
like you think young Dolph just was murdered. Now you know with him being murdered, a lot of people think that's our people who did that. But see, a lot of times how the elite work, they use ignorant young people like us to do that dirty work to hide their hand, right? So we know that this type of action, that's not from our people. That's from them. But you gotta have the eyes to see. So
That's right.
this is some of the type of things they do. Then as we exit the ship, here you have more of the famous pictures here. One of the famous pictures you see in history shown from this era through slavery or oppression, forced servitude, more images of famous pictures, historical pictures that you'll see.
Look
from
what it
those
says.
times.
Remember,
Yep, remember.
never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let these devils tell you, oh, you forget about it. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think for 1 second they won't do this again, because a lot of them have that same mindset.
That's right.
It has nothing to do but hatred. We don't hate these people or none of that. It's keeping it real.
That's right. Now, okay, so I'm going to keep going through. Let's see. All right, so this is the colonial era. Again, a lot of our people during this time, one of the great Christmas addicts was fighting against a lot of the stuff that was taking place and fired the first shot for this whole war to spark off. Then you have Benjamin Banneker, which is also known in history as the great astronomer who made the almanac, and he's also known for laying down the blueprint of not only DC but Philadelphia. And they call DC one of the tri-states with the Vatican and Rome. Okay, in London. Okay, so Benjamin Banneker was a part of the Lenape Moors. Okay, he was great grandson of the Dogon.
Wow.
Okay, so he actually knew the science to lay down the architect for DC. And he laid it out in the five-pointed star. And he did a lot of this from memory.
Yep, I've heard about that.
Yep, he's a great astrologer and great lawman. Okay, great jurist, knew the law. And of course, he's a great historical figure. We know Benjamin Banneker as Chief Justice Emmanuel Mu Ali. Okay, Big Ben. He also made the clock, which continues to run today. A great figure in our era of time. And then here you have the Black Church. It changed since the Black Church, what it actually used to be, as far as the civic duty. They took civics out of the church. They took civics jurisprudence out of the church. It used to be a meeting hub, but of course it was always designed for control. But at least you see here that image. At least the Savior looks like us back then.
Exactly.
But now you see it look like the Albion. Okay. And then here you have some of these Christian historical figures from Mary Elizabeth Lang, Bishop James Barrett, Mary Tolbert Jones, Andrew Byron, and Richard Allen. These were some historical, not only Christian leaders, but Masons, okay, as well. And we know how this Boule gang go. But a lot of them had ties and connections through the church for the civics. Now, I love this next room over here. This is going to talk more about the era and taking us through that time period. But when we get to this Islamic tradition is very limited that they give you here. This is Askia the Great. King Askia, also known as Muhammad Toure, was the founder of the great Songhai Islamic Empire and builder of its famous city Timbuktu. Okay, and they're showing you the connections of how it's tied to our people. It's still in our lineage, in our bloodline. Okay, and they don't talk about the Islamic traditions in early America. Okay, but as we go up here, this is the room of the kings, or a different time period.
Oh wow!
The at the bottom of the totem pole.
Phew, look at that.
That's right. So you have Makeda, the Queen of Sheba, right here. This is where they actually say in the Bible and Quran that you know she actually came to visit Solomon, and she has ties to King Haile Selassie. Okay, and then also you have Queen Nefertiti, okay, which is a famous patron in our history, and you see now Nefertiti is painted as a European or Albion, but you know that's not how she would have looked during that time frame anyway. And then again you have Akhenaten, father of monotheism.
Got on my red. Look at that.
Okay, that's right. He got that red color on for that root chakra. Okay, and Judaism, Christianity, Islam all stem from the religions, the sciences that was brought out of ancient Kemet. Okay, and then here you see a lot of our tribal and traditional portraits here on the wall.
Wow.
You see here ancient Kemet. It all stems back to ancient Kemet, where we taught science, communication, arts and craft, agriculture, horticulture, engineering, cosmology, jurisprudence, philosophy, religion. All of these things go back to us, and there's evidence that we were here 10,000 years before Columbus came. Okay, and so these are some of the things that we once were able to achieve and accomplish. And again, going back to our government, communication, commerce, industry, architecture, music, philosophy, we used to heal through sounds and frequencies. So you'll see a lot of our tribal drums here. You see a lot of our headpieces and head wraps, and all of those things go back to ancient Kemet. Okay, and as we look at Hatshepsut over here, another great historical figure, and exactly, she's throwing up the X. Okay, the great swastika, the X. This is where they get the X-Men from. Okay, because it goes back to those what they would call mutants or shapeshifters. And here you see a depiction of her. Her phenotype is darker. It's not how they show you as lighter. Okay, and she's depicted here with this cobra, this serpent. And the serpent is symbolic of the Kundalini rising. Okay,
Look at the eyes red.
that's right, the great protector. Okay, your protector is your Kundalini, but the goal is to get it to rise and raise within you. Okay, and then we have Queen Nzinga, and there's a lot of astrological text that comes from the Egyptian period, and a lot of it was came down through Queen Nzinga. Okay, and here we have Shaka Zulu,
Yes, sir.
king and great warrior.
Look at that statue.
That's right, and
Wow.
he laid down a blueprint for how to go against colonization and oppression. Okay,
We need to study him.
yeah, and you see that they created those treaties and was able to not be colonized, and they had few men, but they was able to defeat the Albion and Europeans with the men that they did have, because he's a great war strategist. Okay, and then of course you got Imhotep. Hotep means may your soul find satisfaction. Then you have Imhotep, may you leave in satisfaction. Okay, grand architect built the step pyramid, was also known to have been the father of medicine, the father of healing arts. This is where you get the rod of Asclepius and the caduceus. And you see an ambulance ride by, and you see the snake and the serpent on the side of uh, on the side of the ambulance truck.
Yeah.
You see that rod of Asclepius with the
And the
serpent
snake going-
going around?
yeah.
That's going back to Imhotep. Or you see the caduceus with the wings and the serpents going back to Imhotep, the great healer and physician, philosopher, doctor. Okay, so that's all about science right here. Right, and of course the pyramid, the science of the pyramid. You got the 62 bend of the rainbow, the 62 bend, or the 42 bend, I'm sorry. The 42 bend of the rainbow, that spectrum also gives you a science. There's really 8 sides to the pyramid. Okay, when you break down the true science. And then of course you have the eye of Heru. Okay, the eye of Heru. All right, the eye of Heru. Here you have sight, smell, taste. Sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing, and foresight. You have your senses activated, and then you have the Ankh. And the Ankh is symbolic of fertility, is also symbolic of creation. This is also the symbol of Venus, okay, the planet of Venus. And when you flip it upside down, it makes the symbol of Mars. Okay, so you have feminine and masculine in one. Then you have the birth canal and the fallopian tube. This is the power of creation. Okay, this is the power of combining both masculine and feminine together in one. And it's a great symbol. This is where they get the Coptic cross from. This is where they get the cross that you wear today from. This symbol right here. Okay, so it all goes back to ancient Kemet. And then of course you have your colors. That's ancient. Green representing the land. Black symbolizing the people. And red is the blood. Then you also have certain depictions with gold traces in here, because gold comes from the land. Okay, so this is all your sciences. Okay, and then of course you can't forget about the 42 principles of Ma'at, which is the negative confessions of someone, but it's also the 42 laws of innocence. Okay, so this is all our science, and this is why we're trying to wake people up to get back to our sciences, so we can start to rule the world once again, because the universe is calling for us to rule the world. Okay, you guys can see that. All right, and let's go ahead and down. Okay. Okay, so now here you get more of the Underground Railroad. And there have been people who have talked about the Underground Railroad being not just a system of escape, but also a organizational establishment. Okay. And so Harriet Tubman, who they called the Black Moses, born in Dorchester County, Maryland, was prominent for leading her people to freedom. Okay. And
Slave revolts.
All right, Blake.
okay. And so now, this is who they call John Brown, the Albion, who stood alongside our people to try to help them during this time period and sacrifice their sons. Okay. Then you have Toussaint Overture. Okay. Haiti, or Haiti, the great, I like to call him a great king. But you also can't forget about Paul Bogle, because these men were very prominent in standing up against oppression and the powers of the colonial era. Then you have Nat Turner. There's a debate right now going on whether him and Harriet existed, but you have Nat Turner, who was against the oppression. Use the Bible to speak to the higher selves of our people and to really get them to see the best in themselves to fight against this oppression and let it revolt. Okay, so you have these three during that slave revolt. These are not the only. They try to get you to think that, but it's way more revolts that took place. And then you have the famous Dred Scott case. The Dred Scott case is still used universally, internationally, all over, because the Dred Scott case deals with your status in law. If you're Negro, Black, or colored, you fall under the status of civil liter mortuus, which means you are dead in the eyes of the law. The Dred Scott case is a Supreme Court decision that came down that actually highlighted several key points of status. And so you cannot be in an improper status. And so if you're in proper status, that means you're dead in the eyes of the law. And so this is why we still look to this case to this very day. Okay. Then you have here the Civil War, which is an oxymoron, because if you're going to be civil, you're not going to be at war. So that's an oxymoron. And then you have the North versus the South. Now the North was fighting the South because the North wanted the South to end the hard labor of the slaves, quote unquote. Why? Because the North wanted to progress and move the South deeper into the Industrial Revolution. The South said no, because we making good fiat from our slaves. Why are y'all telling us stop? Why don't y'all deal with y'all niggas the way that y'all want to deal? We'll deal with ours how we want to. So this is what this war was really about. You had some people from the South who were free and some people from the North who was already free. They were going back and forth, and a lot of them was already fighting for their freedom. Okay, some of them were not enslaved. And so that's what this big North versus South battle was about. It was about fiat. It was about pushing the Industrial Revolution, pushing us further ahead into the Industrial Age. This is happening again right now with the vax versus the unvax. And so when you don't pay attention, right now, this little gap, this waiting period, is the same amount of period that they had during this age, because now we're moving into the technological age. So they're trying to push us further into the technology, and so they want another quote unquote civil war. Okay, so this is what we can learn from history in order to correct history. Okay, and then you have here Bill Pickett, and again you have John Henry, very great figure that they, talked about how he was actually going up against the oppression, and he actually was very skilled and talented at the railroad systems and other labor. But just to see today, a lot of our cowboy movies are starting to come out. A lot of stories about people come out. This culture that we have once forgotten about is all starting to come back out right now.
That's where they get the Dallas Cowboys from.
Is that the Dallas Cowboys with the 5-pointed star? Going back to, Star State, that's our people.
That's right.
Right. And then here you have Sojourner Truth, Frederick Douglass from Talbot County, Maryland. A lot has been said about, Frederick Douglass. A lot has been said about his work and him marrying the Albion at the end of his, career. Trying to fight oppression, but again, a lot of these people were Masons, Freemasons, and tied into this society that's trying to control the narrative or control the growth of humanity. Okay, and can't forget about Box Brown. Okay, Henry Box Brown shipped himself to freedom. Okay,
damn.
Very great figure. A lot of young people, especially if you artists, you can learn a lot from Henry Box Brown. Because Prince said that why is it that the industry, why do they want to own your masters, control you through your own music? They're just the deliverer, right? So Henry Box Brown, he shipped himself, and that's what a lot of our people, we gotta do that today, is ship ourselves, because nobody else is gonna do it for us. We gotta use all the tools that's necessary to us and get ourselves out of oppression, and that's what Henry Box Brown did, and that's what we can take away from that today. Okay, so I actually like that story when I was reading that. He said this side right up fragile. More of our history here. Now we could go two ways. We could go deeper into the oppression downstairs and the lynchings, and we can also go upstairs and see the elevation when we start to become scientists, and you'll also see the opposite side of the boule too upstairs. So, well, you guys.
I kind of want to go upstairs.
Yeah, let's go upstairs.
Yeah. We didn't see enough about people being lynched.
That's right. Let me see.
This is what you call going back to the future. Look at this.
And it says,
Oh, wow.
and a little child shall lead them laughing in the shrubs.
Yep. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Man.
So you see a lot of people up here, Masons, the best and the worst of us.
Real talk. Ben Carson.
Yep. Ben
Yeah.
Carson.
Yeah, a lot of these people were boule. Masons, Eastern Stars.
That's right.
You gotta keep it real.
And that's why when we say we're doing this for the ancestors, you gotta be specific. Not all our ancestors was for us.
Right. The ancestors. Not all of them. Because we got a lot of ancestors that sold us out. Let's be clear.
That's right. And then here you get more of the Eastern Stars. You get more of this, group of elite hidden behind the scene within our community. You know.
Yep. All in the fraternities and stuff. They all in the entertainment world. They work at our jobs.
Yep. There you go, right here. Here's your sororities right here, Kappa, Alpha.
It's almost like you can't even speak highly of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's real unfortunate, man.
Yes, it is.
You know, and a lot of this stuff that's happening is continuing, and to some degree, it's just being publicized. But a lot of our people know what's going on with us.
Especially when it came down to the civil rights movement. The majority of the people that was in there were boule.
Yep, that's right.
Martin Luther King was boule. Yeah, Ralph Abernathy, all of them.
Yep. And you just gotta ask yourself, what was going through the mindset of our people when you got people that don't want you at their restaurants, but you dying to sit and eat there?
Exactly.
How can you trust them with your food or your drink?
Right.
You know, I just didn't get that.
Me neither. And it's like, okay, if these people don't want to be around you, why would you force your way into situations like that?
Yep. It just don't make sense to me.
Right. It doesn't make sense. And like a prime example, more like, look at that picture right there. Come on. That's always wondering, like, he doesn't even look upset.
Exactly.
But it's a dog being sick, don't know. Come on.
You wouldn't want to go into these restaurants, but you know that's the whole illusion of inclusion. By 2062, it's projected that there will be no more black wealth, and that's because of situations like this. You gotta learn how to love yourself.
Yep, Elijah Muhammad, he was on the payroll.
Yep. And you see, like situations like this, um, making the young brother a zoo exhibit. Uh, you know, when you think about animals that's taken out of the wild and they're placed into these systems of captivity, the environment is emulated to make them feel that it's similar to home. But today, we are taking out of our environment a rulership and put in projects. And we don't have that same emulation, so it's no wonder why a lot of our people are running wild,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they become the sight to see. So,
Yep.
and then you get more boule,
Bootleg like crazy.
more masons, more
Mm-hmm.
sellouts,
Big time sellouts.
you know. So, now don't get me wrong. Masonry goes back to ancient Kemet,
Mm-hmm.
but the form that is practiced today is not what it's supposed to be. You have a lot of our people just in there for jobs, in
Mm-hmm.
there for different reasons, but there's no true knowledge and no true practice of the science,
Mm.
and that's the problem. So, don't hear me wrong. And no, I'm not a mason. We ain't no masons.
Nah, we not.
So I'm just making that clear.
We don't do that.
So, but
You can't be a Moor and a Mason at the same time. It doesn't make any sense. You can't, right? You can't be in the masonry, then become a Moor, then you run it back to masonry. That doesn't make any sense.
that's right. That's right.
That's been ass backwards.
That's right. And here you go. This is Matthew Henson, one of the first to go to North Pole.
He's from here, right?
He's from Maryland. Y'all all know what's the actress name? Henson, Taraji P. Henson. That's her
Yeah.
cousin.
Wow.
That's her cousin, and she actually had the estate in Maryland here.
Jeez.
Okay, she took over her kindred and her loved ones. They took over the estate for Maryland. Okay, great pioneer. He set a world record, and it's even in Guinness World Record book. Okay,
Our people outstanding.
that's right. This is the sharecroppers thing. A lot of our people here, you think just because you got the deed to the land, you think just because you got a mortgage, that it's your house that you're paying every month. No, you're sharecropping. Sharecropper meaning you're just paying rent. And whenever you stop, they kick you out. It's called eviction. And so even with your mortgage, which is a dead pledge, this is what you still have today. This was going on back then. It's still going on right now. So when you look at mortgage, it means dead pledge. So if you signing something that's already dead in law, you already putting yourself in a situation that's not conducive to you. It's not going to help you. So when you get these mortgages, you're getting sharecropping deals. When you get these deeds and you don't get the allodial titles to the land, you're not getting the true title to the actual land coordinates. So you become trapped in the system. Okay, so this is how they generate a lot of finance through these dead pledges. And this has been going on for centuries. Okay, stealing the allodial titles from our people and putting them through dead pledges and getting our people to sign up where they can evict. There's mass evictions just off of dead pledges alone, mortgages alone. And why, if you're the heir to this land, why are you getting evicted when this is your land? You're the heir, you know? It's because you're taking these deals with the mortgages. So how do you combat that? Come together and stop using the mortgages. Make your claim. We don't want reparations. It's time for
Restitution.
restitution. You know?
That's amazing, Moore.
Oh yeah.
I said that in a rhyme
Oh yeah.
about restitution.
We
Wow.
need restitution, man, not reparations.
That's right.
Okay. And again, you get more of the boule.
Yep.
You know, more of it. Get more of the boule.
Pretty much.
And this
Excuse me.
is, I actually love George Washington Carver. He actually pushed Henry Ford with the conveyances and the cars into a whole nother level era, because when you look at the Industrial Revolution, with the Civil War. That's what it was really about. But this person right here, George Washington, isn't really talked about as pushing the Industrial Revolution ahead with his sciences. He didn't just create a lot of inventions from peanuts. He also created a lot of things from plants and a lot of other products. Um, so he was monumental to a lot of uh, not only our progress but our downfall because they used a lot of his inventions against our own people.
Mm.
So, you have people like Ford and other people, Rockefeller, funding a lot of his inventions because they wanted to use it to capitalize off our people, push us further into the capitalist society. And then, of course, you got Booker T. Washington. He was battling with other people. And you got people like W.E.B. Du Bois. They were all battling to become the next leader, Negro leader, and all this type of stuff. But again, they were Masons and on payroll, controlling the narrative, getting our people away from their true birthright. All of us have a birthright, and some of these leaders, alleged leaders, they didn't teach our people about this stuff.
Mm.
They took an oath to keep secrecy to not tell. Okay, so that's what we got here. Okay, yeah, so this is the era when we get to the labor movement, the Pullman Porters. It is on the books that a lot of the Pullman Porters were actually making a lot of finances from doing this job. They was becoming millionaires from doing these jobs. But what would be considered millionaires when you do the equivalent of the finances back then? Okay, and so you see how today they took away the trades and the labor market for our people to get us in a system where we're totally relying on them for stuff. So you can't say F you to your boss anymore because you're gonna need the job to provide. But with the labor force we had back then through trades, you can tell somebody F you and go across the street and start your own again because you knew the skills, what to do, how to survive. So, there's a lot of things that's not the same anymore, and they're trying to make it worse than that. Again, with the scientists and inventors, there's over hundreds of thousands of patents that is created by our ancestors. And you would never know. Like a lot of people always mention Nikola Tesla, but you need to know about Granville T. Wood. Okay? One of the greatest inventors, scientists, mathematicians to ever exist, and a lot of our people don't know about him, and they don't talk about him that much.
No, they don't.
Okay, he created a lot of things from the traffic light. As a matter of fact, this is Granville T. Woods right here.
Up on this pole.
All right.
Then they say Tesla get a lot of stuff from him.
He got a lot of the stuff from him, Granville T. Wood.
Okay,
so you're looking at the telephone, the light, the coin machine, the ironing board, the iron. All of the inventions that you see today are not new. They came from our people. All right. So, military, we got different thoughts on this military.
Yeah. Especially the Tuskegee Airmen.
That's right. Our people, the Tuskegee Airmen, the reason why they got the Tuskegee Airmen, the Moors in there, the ones look like us, because the Albions kept missing. They couldn't see. Okay? And this is where genetics come into play because their genetic markers wouldn't allow them to see the target, to hit the target, so they had to call us in there to get the job done. And when you see every war that the U.S. has fought in, they have not won without the help of our people.
Facts.
Every last war.
Facts.
They have not won without the help of our people in
Facts.
it. So imagine if we left and was able to form our own.
We'll wipe their ass out.
That's right. So
literally, probably within like hours. Literally, they take days for us.
That's right.
On our frequency,
that's right.
On a higher level, we'll take we'll obliterate them within hours.
Oh yeah, and see here you got
is that Garvey?
Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Okay, and they call him the father of nationalism.
Garvey
was very monumental. It actually took for them to create a secret society, the Masons and the Boulay, joined together to stop his progress. Okay, he had his own trade and shipping on the seas, and they actually had to, stop him. Okay, so he's very monumental in his movement. One of the issues that he had, he tried to unite our people through the Pan African movement. But when he went back home, a lot of his people on the island said, "We're not with that, because that's not where we are. This whole United Pan African Black thing, because we have a nationality." And he did not consider that when he was making his works. So he had to redirect it and come back and correct himself. So you can see he's on the right track with nationalism. He's on the right track. But now you have to identify the nationality of our people. Okay, and that's where we are today. So much so that the United Nations have said that we have to tell the people they have a right to a name and nationality.
We coming up on some good stuff, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, oh, we ain't gonna go there. Oh man.
Oh, yeah, Billie Holiday from Baltimore.
From Baltimore, that's right. All of them from B-More.
Oh, yeah, very strong jazz. And jazz goes back to ancient Kemet.
Yeah, you right, shit, her, yeah.
Yeah.
Ain't you be big from here?
Oh, yeah, yep. They go back to ancient Kemet, the instruments that we use in jazz. We're the founders of jazz, hip hop, rock and roll. All of these things come from our people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Some good pictures are here. You got the champ. Let's see what we have here. We got Joe Louis, Jackie Robinson. Again, there's that 42. And then you have Jesse Owens. Okay, so 42 goes back to Chadwick Boseman. He played Jackie Robinson in 42. And that's a powerful number. It is your 6 for the 6 principles of man, 6 protons, electrons, and neutrons. That number 42 goes back to ancient Kemet, which is also the bent of the rainbow. So, the arch of the rainbow. The degrees.
Oh, look right here. Islamic leaders.
You got the Islamic leaders with the founders, starting with
let's go.
Noble Drew Ali.
Peace.
Re-establishing the old Canaanite temple in 1913.
Oh,
then coming with the Moorish Science Temple, or the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and then coming with the Moorish Science Temple of America. And from there, you have one of his students who was in the Adab chamber, Elijah Poole Bey, who was known as Elijah Muhammad, who started the Temple of Islam, and then it transformed to what it is today, the Nation of Islam. And then he actually taught, here you have Malcolm X, which is actually known as Hajj Malik Shabazz, and he actually started to move on the whole nationalist movement to get our people back to nationalism and to address our grievances with the United Nations. And then before he can finish that, they actually took him out.
And it's so amazing right here because I started in the nation, then I went back home to the Moors. Because matter of fact, yeah. Because when I first came into it, I started off in the Nation of Islam, and that was when what was so amazing. I would see brothers in the temple, with the fez on. I used to be like, "Who are these brothers?" And they was always really sharp and really pleasant.
Right.
But we never debated. We always build.
Right.
We always build.
See, and that's something, man. How it all works. It came back 360.
Right.
Wow.
It all came back 360. Yup, because of course we heard about him, but then of course, I mean, it's so amazing because like you said, he taught him, and he taught Farrakhan.
That's right.
It just kept going and going and going. But of course, it all started from the Prophet.
That's right.
Because Honorable Elijah Muhammad instructed us in the book Theology of Time to always honor Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
And he was monumental in re-teaching us about who we were on this landmass and giving us something different from Christianity at that time, and also re-teaching us about nationality and birthrights, because at that time we had kind of lost that knowledge of nationality and birthrights and structure, jurisprudence, and civics. So, very monumental men here
Mm-hmm.
in our progression of how to think when it comes to dealing with the oppressor and the colonizers.
That's right.
Yep.
That's an honor right there to look at this right here.
Oh
That's an
yeah.
honor to look at that because I mean, just it's amazing. All of that is one of the same.
Mm-hmm.
All of that because when I went to the Moon Science Temple, I saw Honorable Elijah Muhammad picture in the temple with the fez on, with the star and the crescent with the Quran. The star and the crescent was on his fez, and if you take a look, that is a fez. Because Minister Farrakhan even said it one time. He was like, "Yeah, he almost knocked my fez off." I was looking like, "Oh, okay, so y'all really,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on now, you know the science."
Yep.
It's all one of the same. But go ahead, more.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's basically them being a spark plug to us beginning to get back into the history of who we really are, to take it further than what they have brought to us.
That's right.
Everybody that's in here represented today, we're not supposed to just hang on what these people did. We're supposed to build on what these people did.
That's right.
And sometimes we get caught up and say, we got to stay with what they brought. It's good to stay with it, but it's also good to build and go further, to take it further.
And expand.
That's right. So you don't want to just have a Saturn mentality. You want to have a Jupiter to expand. Because Saturn is cold and likes to restrict, but Jupiter likes to expand. And that's what we got to do. Expand on everybody's piece of the puzzle that they brought.
Right. And don't worship them.
That's right. Don't worship.
Don't worship none of these leaders.
He is not my savior. He is not my savior. He is not my savior.
That's right.
They help me to see things differently, but I don't make a shrine to them, get on my knees and worship them and shout them constantly in every video or every
Yes.
speech, because
Elijah Muhammad.
that's right.
Prophet Noble Ali.
We
Bobby
don't-
Hemmett.
That's right. We don't do that because we got work to do. It takes a lot of work to get where we need to go, and so we like to honor them by doing the work, not by just saying their names.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's right. Everybody on their knees ain't praying.
That's right. Everybody on their knees ain't praying, and everybody bending over ain't tying their shoes. That's why it's very important to know who you are. You know.
That's right.
So, and then you have here. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah. So here you have Kwame, and then you have who they got? Cause they switched this around. Yeah, this is Winnie Mandela. Then you have
Steve Biko.
Steve Biko.
Denzel played that character in that movie Cry Freedom.
Yep, and they took Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela here. Now
He
here's
sold out.
yeah, you know that, because how do you go from being in jail all that time to then come out being the president?
Right.
You know. Now, mind you, Hugo Chavez. No, I'm sorry. Fidel Castro was lobbying to get him out. Okay, out of prison. But you don't just come out of prison and then become head of state. Okay, so unless you're in the inside group.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then how he never really even truly forgave his own wife, who was taking the heads off and doing different things, but he can forgive his oppressors. Something was up with that to me.
Yes, it was, because she even said, Winnie Mandela even said, like, the Nelson Mandela went in was not the one that came
It
out.
wasn't the same one.
One the same one.
Yep.
He
So
pretty much sold out.
that's right. So this is Haile Selassie here,
For the Rastafarians.
considered one of the greatest statesmen to ever live, in the royal bloodline of the pharaohs of Kemet. Okay, and very, very prominent. And you see a lot of things going on with Ethiopia now. This so-called civil war they're having. Then they got commercials of the Western media saying that they need help, and that's not true. Well, they need you to stop causing all of this stuff. That's what they really need. Stay out of this. Very great statesman. Then you have here the Jim Crow era. Okay. You see those hoods from the KKK? that stems from our ancient science, where we used to wear robes and hoods, similar to what you see the Catholicism or the Catholic priesthood. They have just hijacked our culture. What the ancient pharaohs used to wear is the vicar of earth. This is what they do, and you see here they have the cross, the good cross. That's your astrological coordinates: north, south, east, and west. And then they actually have a lot of the robes that they get from our ancient science. So the swastika is not bad. It's not evil. This was your four cardinal points of the earth. There's also your navigation system: north, south, east, and west. And when you look at the Jim Crow era, a lot of our people today are Jim Crow's children because they love their master
So much.
that they defend everything. Not all of them. We're not talking about all. We're talking about the ones who are into this era.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Crowism is still taking place to this day.
Real talk.
So the goal the United Nations said was to eradicate colonialism, because that's what this is. It shouldn't be called Jim Crow. It should be called colonization. And so if you want to get rid of this, the goal is to get rid of the one that's causing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Deport them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And again, here you go, more boule. I mean, it's just over and over and over and over again. Boule. Masons. And here you have more of the same in this era.
Boule.
NAACP is funded today. It was started by Albion.
Yep.
Ashkenazi now is taken over by Soros.
Yep.
And you still have a lot of our people that still sellouts and still in it.
Big time. All of these members sellouts.
Mm-hmm.
NAACP, come on, financed by Jewish money.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the ultimate
sellout.
Yep. Who realized once it was too late that he's integrating his people into a house that's on fire.
Burning house. Real name Michael King.
Michael King.
And Annie was a communist. Annie was a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a thing for the Albions.
Oh yeah, they had a saying amongst themselves. He liked it when they swing from the chandeliers.
Mm-hmm. Even Kwesi Nkrumah, who's from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
All these Boule members
Yep.
was on the payroll for the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
All of those events that you see of those racial events, besides the lynchings, they were staged.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who was taking those pictures?
Exactly. Oh, and you know what? I think we forgot about a room, because they do have they got Reginald F. Lewis in here.
Oh yeah, our man from Baltimore.
Yeah, I gotta go pay homage to him.
That's right.
Reginald F. Lewis,
Yep, the first.
billionaire.
Yep, billionaire. That's right.
On this side,
Whew.
there's a lot of info in here.
Yes, indeed.
Here. I think they about to close. Let me get this real quick before we go. Got Fubo right here.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fubu.
Gotta support your own people with their businesses.
Yep. We should have never dissed them. A lot of our people dissed them.
Mm-hmm. Little Reginald F. Lewis right there.
He's from Baltimore, the first black billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
I salute this man. We salute this man.
That's right. Gone too soon.
Way too soon. Look at that. My man Nas talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
The first black billionaire.
Yep. Before Oprah Bob Johnson, how'd he disappear?
Mm-hmm.
Here you go, see him right here signing the deal. He's a head one. And he was a Sagittarius.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
He had the vision. Ruled by Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Beatrice International. And if y'all haven't read his book, everybody should read that book. If you don't read it, at least listen to the audio.
Oh, I definitely don't want to look at that one.
Why should all the white guys have fun?
Yeah.
Read that book. Oh yeah, it's just more boule. I think.
Yeah, more boule.
But then you also see here the congressmen, those Moors that snuck into Congress, quote unquote,
Yep.
that was running this government. They don't teach us about this.
Nah. You know, but so crazy, Glenn Beck did a segment on now.
Mm-hmm.
Albion.
Oh yeah, you look it up. This is the Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877.
Yep.
And this is where they was reconstructing history, meaning rewriting themselves into it and writing you out. Okay, and then you also see 13th Amendment, Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, wherefore the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Now, that means that you can't be convicted, or you can't be enforced servitude unless you're convicted for a crime. And if I make all crimes commercial, you don't have to be convicted for causing injury. It can be for a traffic stop. That's a crime. And it says Section 2, Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Then you get into the 14th Amendment. Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. 14th Amendment is the trick bag, because you don't need the 14th Amendment. It's trying to make you a citizen of the United States. It's trying to make you a subject of their jurisdiction, because you don't need to be a citizen when you are a national. This is a trick. It's deception. It makes you a corporate ward of the state. And when you get married, your children belong to the state, not to you. The Attorney General act as the probate mommy. Look up what probate means. He's the mommy because you're too stupid to know that you're not supposed to be under the 14th Amendment. That's what that means when you look it up. So 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment are all created during this era. It's all the trick bag. Okay?
Damn.
It's all the trick bag. Okay, and then you got Moore Boulay, you know.
Yeah.
Bishop Boulay and everything.
Yep.
And Obama.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, love Obama.
I love him so damn much. I'm gonna skip past him real quick.
Yeah, that's even, you know.
Yeah, fraud.
In fact, a lot of people talking about what's going on with
Oh yeah.
Joe Biden, but guess what?
What's going on?
Why the hell is Obama there with him at the summit? Because this is his third administration. This is his third term.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's running this.
Yup. Man. Ooh. Start getting hungry.
Oh yeah.
Ah, man.
So that concludes this time of the trip, because we ain't gonna go see all of the other ones. All right.
Hannibal Barker Bay. Hannibal Barker Bay.
Great military strategy.
Wow.
Strategist.
Man, I feel like we went through like so much history, man.
Oh yeah.
Woo.
Definitely did. Came back, it's dark out now.
I know, right? Dang. Yo, it felt like we just went through like a serious thing through history, man.
Oh yeah.
You know what I felt? It was like the DNA.
Oh yeah, it's unlocking. It's
Yeah.
already within us. It's already in our DNA.
That's right. We glad that y'all love that breakdown.
Oh yeah.
And subscribe to his channel, The Cosmic God 8.
Oh yeah.
Subscribe to his channel, The Cosmic God 8. And just to let y'all know, we're going to have more content coming. Oh yeah, tell them what you're going to break down soon.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna be breaking down the kinetic science again really soon, and we got other stuff as well that we're gonna break down, the science of Baltimore, and we're gonna be doing an astrological forecast tomorrow, tomorrow night at 9:30ish. So you all want to be there to see that. So I hope this was able to help give somebody some clarity or insight on it. And we always like to leave you with may your soul find satisfaction. Or Hotep. Peace and love.
Peace and love, y'all. So we got content coming. One love once again. Peace.
Peace.
Man.
You need a ride?
Yeah, sure.